Morning guys, Greg here, 3G's Garage. Um, Flying solo today, just picked up a new project. Hopefully it's not too much of a project, but thought it was cool, kind of had to have it. So there it is, 1985 Honda XL600R. All right. 13,000 miles on the clock. Supposedly been sitting for 2 years. Not sure on that. Never had a bike like this. I'll say, first off, I kind of was pulling a bit when I went to buy this, trying to use it as a tool to get some money off of it. I told the guy a little white lie saying I didn't know how to do anything and I'd have to take this in. However, since Facebook Marketplace is an absolute zoo, that didn't work because he had a line of like 20 people wanting to buy this thing. So I had to pay full price for it, which is fine. It was still a decent enough deal. But we will see. It doesn't run. So that makes me a little nervous. Not sure what it is. According to the previous owner, he said that a couple years ago him and his wife were riding the bike and it just quit on him. And he said that when he looked at the airbox, he said it had deteriorated and he thinks that some of that sucked in and plugged up the carburetor. I hope that's just it. My fear is that maybe some of that foam got crushed into the valve seat and it's a lack of compression or something weird like that. I did kick it over a couple times, and Keegan seems to think that it has plenty of compression, but I'm not totally sold on that. Reason for buying it was I have this guy. It's an XR200, a little bit older than that. And me and my two boys just recently took a trip out to Moab, Utah. And I actually rode this all week on the trails and had an absolute blast. So got me kind of hooked on it. Obviously, like vintage stuff. I feel like this stuff was built really well. So hoping to do like a quick little will it run here maybe. Take you guys along with. And yeah, I guess I'm just going to dig right into it and do some work on this thing, see if I can't uncover the problem, and we'll go from there. So let you guys sit right over here and I'll grab some tools and get going. That's interesting. So, yeah, that's not a good sign. Nothing in there. Okay. How's this seat up on, guys? Some of you guys who have a bike like this are probably screaming at me. Like, because I don't know how the seat is held on. Usually it's pretty simple. It's got some tabs back here that it's attached to, but not seeing that. So far the hardware on this thing is pretty interesting. It's all mismatched, which I don't really like. But again, old stuff is what it is. Not sure where that came from. Set that over here. So I know at the very least I'm probably going to have to do a carb clean on this thing, so I'm just going to go ahead and take the gas tank and everything else off right away. Seat, gas tank, give me some access to this. Let's see. Fuel line is rock hard. Probably end up replacing these lines, but yeah, that guy's rock hard, no good. That line. All right, there's our tank. That guy out of the way. All right, there's a lot of stuff attached to this air box. All this stuff on top, voltage rectifier and all that stuff. So I just loosened it up and I slid it back. Nothing else that'll hopefully give me a big enough window to get these carbs out of here. It's a single cylinder, but it's got dual carb and dual exhaust. So kind of interesting. See if we can get those guys out of there. All right, so that was a royal pain in the ass to get this out of here. Again, I've never worked on a bike like this before. Single cylinder, it's got dual carbs, they're connected on an angle. It's kind of weird. So my first thought when I looked at this is either the slide is in there wrong, or I don't know how this setup actually works. Is it like a primary and a secondary? Because you see the one slide is different than the other one. And then you can also see on the back here that they're adjusted differently. You can see some gap on the bottom there, and this one's closed. Right off, I'm not seeing a whole bunch of foam stuck in there like he kind of thought was the case. I don't know. We'll get into it, dig into the carbs a little bit here, take a look at the rest of what's going on. We'll get them in the ultrasonic cleaner and maybe put them back on yet and see what happens. So just thought I'd show you guys that, but I'm going to dig into these a little further. If I see anything, I'll let you know. Otherwise, it'll be just a simple cleanup and reassembly and see if we can get anything out of it. So, all right. So, upon further inspection, even though I went into this very cautiously, because I really don't like electrical issues. It's not my forte at all. I asked repeatedly what the guy thought. He had this bike forever. And, you know, I said, look, I can't afford to make a mistake. I don't want to get into something that I don't want to get into. You're fairly confident that the problem is in the fuel system with the air filter deteriorating and sucking in. That was his theory. As I got further into this, which I probably should have done right off the bat here, was check for spark. I thought, well, what the hell? I might as well check for spark. No spark, which is lovely because upon further inspection, I'm pretty sure he knew that, which is disappointing because, you know, I feel like I wouldn't do that to somebody else. If I knew what the issue was, he would have had no problem selling this bike regardless, but it wouldn't have been to me. Because I would have entered it with a little more hesitation then. But this appears to be kind of a cheapy aftermarket ignition coil that's been put on here. So I'm guessing that he tried that. It didn't work. Yeah, so I'm kind of left with a shit sandwich here. The bike did come with a really tattered service manual for a 1983 model, which I've gone into. And you can test all these things and write off, you know, like I said, I'm not good at electrical stuff. It's just not my forte. But I checked the pulse generator. Right here, you can ohm this out, and it is out of spec. I don't have a lot of confidence in my electrical diagnosis, diagnostic ability per se, but it's supposed to be between 510 and 570 ohms, and I think it was like 360. I did connect a battery to it, just seeing if that would help. The ignition switch itself seems pretty finicky, but that shouldn't have any bearing on your numbers that you're getting here for continuity. So I think I might look up and see what a stator is going to cost for this thing. And if it's not too bad, I might just order that and dive into that. And also maybe look into, you know, I don't know. This ignition coil to me seems like really cheap and chintzy. So might look at the cost for a better one of those. Yeah, so that's where we're at with this. Kind of disheartening, disappointed, but I don't know. You know, the beat goes on. You know, carry on here. I paid good money for this bike, so I gotta get to the bottom of it and get her working. So I'll keep you posted. Till then, we'll see you guys later. All right, guys, here we are. It's a couple weeks later. Got the new stator ordered. Did take kind of a while to get here, but I popped for the expensive one. This thing was 175 bucks, so hopefully it works decently. I'm gonna go ahead and I got the bike up on the lift here, make it a little bit easier on me. I got a good bit of the gasket still on there, so I'm going to get at trying to clean that off. It's pretty tight quarters in here, so I'm not looking forward to this. I actually kind of put this off for a while, so I'll spare you guys the details on that and cut back in when that's done. So I'll get her cleaned up and we'll go from there. All right, so flash forward a little bit, got the gasket surface prepped. There's the old guy. Got the new Ricky stator unit put in there. Clean the gasket surface on that. Got my new gasket. For those of you who are just getting into this kind of stuff, a while back I kind of learned when I was doing a head gasket job on my old Civic that using one of these on a die grinder, I can't remember what exactly that was called, but the white one was the right grit. I can't remember exactly what grit that is, but this is a lifesaver, man. Like, I hate cleaning gaskets with a razor. These surfaces are aluminum. As long as you keep moving, you're not going to grind a spot in it, and basically it's just a sanding disc. And obviously I couldn't get it in some of these areas, but like for here and around there, it goes like 100 times faster. So if you got an air compressor and a die grinder, or get a die grinder and get these roll lock disc. And yeah, I'm not positive what the grit is on it. I'll maybe add that to the description. Yeah, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and carry on here, put my gasket on, and then you put a little RTV around this guy, and I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing buttoned up. So, all right, guys, fast forwarded a little bit here. So, got the stator all buttoned up, threw the carbs back on. I threw those in the ultrasonic cleaner. The right side one, which is the secondary one, is leaking a little bit out of the needle. I think the overflow, isn't shutting off too much. So we put fuel in it. I put fresh oil in it. Keegan's standing on it. We're gonna try to get her running here. So, yeah. Yes. Sweet. All right. Well, yes, we got a runner. We got spark, which is better than what we had. So, yeah, clean the carbs, switch the gas tank out. Mainly was that stator was the biggest problem. So, yeah, we should be good to go on
an air filter on
this
it,
guy.
tune it a little bit.
Yeah, wrap her up, put her back together, and we'll be good to go.